All right. I think we just took it live here. So let's give everyone a minute to join. Thank you all for attending. We are going to be broadcasting on a couple different networks right now. So whether you're coming live from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm actually playing back myself here. I think we're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. So across numerous different platforms here, and it's an absolute pleasure to be live with Rob. So Rob, how you doing today?
What's up, Chaz? All good. How are you, my friend?
Doing amazing. Yeah, really been excited for this event and happy we made it happen. We were able to join. Rob and I go way back. We've been very close in the telecom space and doing a lot of things together through the years. And Rob has an incredible company called OnScript. Rob, if you could share us a little bit about what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. So OnScript is a fully AI-powered call center analytic product that helps our clients understand call center agent performance, what makes their best agents their best, what makes their worst agents their worst, and why. So we can coach and improve, as well as producing other powerful analytics and insights about calls and conversations they're having with their customers.
It's amazing. Yeah. And, I don't know if any of you had a chance to play with the platform, but the first time I got a chance to see it, it was incredible. The UI is incredible. So your team has done an amazing job putting it together. And some of the things it just is able to identify for you in there are just, it's insane, So the first time I got a chance to see it, I was blown away. So you guys have done an incredible job. Yeah,
we got a good dev team and a very sharp CTO leading the charge.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you all again for joining, and thank you, Rob, for your intro. My name's Chaz. I'm with CallTools. We have a cloud-based contact center solution. We have all the features for inbound and outbound, as well as, your power dialing and some other really cool stuff we've just come out with as well for, keeping your agents busy and on the phone. We also support all of your inbound use cases as well. So we have some high volume clients that do a lot of inbound calls, call handling, call routing. So it's all cloud-based and it's an incredible platform. Today, the topic is future-proofing your call center, KPIs, analytics, and automation. So Rob and I were talking a couple of weeks back and we knew we had the event coming up here and we wanted to pick something meaningful that, would really resonate with a lot of people where we could provide a lot of value. And this is the topic we came up with. So again, looking into the future, right? How can you optimize your call center? How can you optimize what it is that you're working on? Forgive me, I'm going to just cancel my Slack here. Good. So we don't get those little bubbles as we go throughout the rest of this session. But yeah, what can you do to future-proof your call center? Right? There's a lot of technology out there right now. There's a lot of things that are coming about with AI. And it's easy to get lost in the mess, right? What do I really need to be doing? What do I need to be looking at? What should I be playing with? And it's important to just kind of have a strategy and kind of know what it is that's going to work well for you and know what those different KPIs and meaningful indicators are, within your business. Coming from having run some very large call centers myself and having consulted with, I'd say at this point, many hundreds of call centers, of all different sizes and shapes. It's important to embrace your KPIs, right? You have to embrace what those things are that are going to drive the business forward. And a simple example would be, in a call center, right? How many calls are you making? How many of those calls are connecting, right? So how often are you getting somebody on the phone? How many appointments are you setting or sales are you making, right? So it really depends on your business. But looking at everything through the funnel, right, and kind of watching it as it progresses, So we used to call it critical drivers and KPIs. And in this concept, I'll just go through KPIs, but you're going to look at, everything from the top down. So if I make more phone calls, I would hope I can set more appointments. And of those appointments, I hope that I can get more sales, right? So what are the different things that are driving you down the funnel to get to the end goal, which is, for whatever it means for your business? Maybe it's a sale or maybe it's something different. But I think, Rob, that, we share the same thoughts here. And I think your system does a really good job of kind of being able to show you that, right? Show you where your conversions are and your KPIs. So Anything you'd like to share here in terms of, KPIs and the importance within a business here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, as it relates to information that you're going to get from your dialer, and Chaz obviously brings up a good point, is like you got to know what's most important for you and your business. But I think generally, what's most important when looking at the KPIs once you've established them, whether it's contact rate, transfers per hour, revenue per hour, sales, right, per agent per day, whatever it is, like the ability for you to get really granular on those KPIs, both from a data perspective, right? Because to Chaz's point, if you make more dials, that should result in more whatever outcomes you're looking for. But a lot of that is predicated on the data, right, that you're using to make those outbound dials, and not all data is equal, right? So understanding how that data performs on your KPIs like contact rate, and ultimately, either transfers, appointments, sales per hour, and having the visibility to be able to break that down to multiple subsource levels, so you can optimize, right, is very important, right? If you're looking at, 1,000 records, right, your first indicator is going to be contact rate, right? And you're probably going to want to pump more records to data sources and subsources that are contacting better, and probably feed your better agent groups with those as well. So you need to be able to identify those. And if you're using proper sub-ID tagging, dialers make it very easy for you to see that, right? And then same thing, down to, on the agent side too, and team side, right? So just whatever your KPIs are that are important for you, it's important that you know how to track down very, very granularly data, creative, media placement, affiliate, and multiple subsource levels of that as well.
That's amazing. And thank you, Rob. And that is an incredible outline. And what you've just triggered for me is, I look back at the title here today, right? We're looking at analytics, KPIs, and automation. So we're talking a little bit about KPIs right now, the things that you want to track and identifying what those are. So many businesses, I think fall short here is they don't have a KPI structure, right? It's kind of basic. Okay, we want to get more sales, right? And everyone looks at the end game, that final number, that final appointment, that final sale, but they don't look at the KPIs that lead up to it. So I think looking back at what we're looking to cover today and kind of add some value to is the analytics and the automation piece, right? And I think that the automation piece is really huge because, I remember way back when, before we had certain processes in place in a previous life, we used to be able to get our KPIs. We knew exactly what we wanted from that aspect, but we had no automation, right? So what did that mean? Every night we had to sit there. We had to sit there in Excel, scrub the data, pivot tables, all this stuff. But, there's so much amazing technology today where you can automate, you can use APIs to integrate. So, Rob, you were talking about different lead sources and sub campaigns. So it's really easy to get that data into your CRM, into your dialer, like CallTools, and be able to call it in an efficient way. And also to be able to analyze it in a much more efficient way as well, So post-call analytics are super important. It allows you to look into kind of what's happening after every interaction, after every phone call, right? So having the ability to do that in an automated way is what allows businesses to reach that next level, to do it at scale, and to increase their agent performance, So in terms of post-call, Rob, you're the master here, in terms of the different things that you can analyze and take a look at. So what are some of the most important things that you kind of see?
Yeah, great question. So, in your dialer instance in CallTools, it's going to tell you, some of the KPIs that you're looking for that are just going to help you evaluate some of the stuff that we were just talking about, right, directly from the dialer: contact rate, transfer rate, sale rate, any of those, and those are likely the most important KPIs to your business, right? If you're selling Medicare policies, you want to know how many policies you sold and which agents sold them, right? And you're probably looking at the best agent correlated to the one who made the most sales that day, right? But behind that, of why, right, is where OnScript can come in and be very helpful, not only in identifying what pieces of analytics and insights on calls are driving better performance, but also, to your point, Chaz, automating that feedback, right, and insights back
Sure.
in to a dialer like CallTools through our easy integration. So not only can the business owner see the insights, but to take it a step further, they don't have to do anything to act on them because it's fully automated. So things such as what are the analytics that we're looking at in a post-call environment? Sure. So the big one, right, which is I think the main utility that people see in OnScript is agent quality score. How are my agents doing on every single call against a scorecard that we build, right? And the scorecard is generally a combination of script adherence, rebuttals, objections, how they're handling them, compliance, right? So that's one aspect of it, right? And we can easily show based on a scorecard evaluation who the best performing agents are, who the worst ones are, what they're getting right, what they're getting wrong, right? Okay, do we have a problem overall with this script question because every agent is failing this, or do we have a couple of agents that are throwing the numbers off, right? So quality score, number one. Second, how the agents are sounding, right? Tonality and sentiment, which oftentimes in a call center is more important than an agent's ability to adhere to a script, is how they are sounding and communicating with your customers, right? The agents who tend to do the best in our experience are the ones who are able to quickly build rapport with the customer, be empathetic towards them and their situation, and establish themselves as subject matter experts. None of that's going to be seen through script adherence, right? So we actually analyze how the agents are sounding based on the actual audio recording and report very objectively and scientifically on what we call vocalytics, right? What are the biggest characteristics of how they're sounding that influence positive outcomes of a call? And how are the agents doing on those characteristics? So that's another big important KPI.
That's what I love. Yes, that's incredible that you guys are able to do that. And I love to. I think that this webinar would go way longer if I tried to figure out how you do it. So I'm not even going to go there. Nor
I don't even know
comprehend
how we do it. Mark or Alan in.
Right.
But yeah, it's really cool, and it's specific to the actual campaign. So it's learning based on actual use case of each client and not just globally, because while generally certain aspects of tonality and vocalytics are going to be similar from campaign to campaign, there are nuances and there are differences from campaign to campaign, and we're able to extract that.
It's incredible.
Some other KPIs. Here's another good one, Chaz. So you mentioned you guys obviously support inbound calls, right?
Yes.
We have something called call intent, right? And this is different than auto dispositioning, which I'll get into, but we can show our customers why people are calling in, right? Either categorically, they're calling in to enroll, they're calling in to cancel, they're calling in because they have a customer service question about their policy, or keyword based, right? Like in the land of ACA, people don't want subsidy calls, $6,400 checks, right? In debt, like mention of grants, a big no-no, right? So we can categorize, or we can say, hey, these calls are coming in with a flag based on a keyword or phrase. And why this is important is because, especially if you're a marketer who's driving these inbound calls, with click-to-call, buying media on platforms, historically, the information that you feed back into those platforms, maybe you get a pixel fire back to you on a conversion, an event like a sale. That's great data. Otherwise, people are placing these duration-based pixels, right, in these media platforms, right? Okay, if I get paid after a 2-minute call, I want to place a 2-minute pixel. Great. In Medicare, a sale should be 30 minutes. So any call over 30 minutes, fire a 30-minute pixel. It's okay, but it's not scientifically perfect. And the reason for that is very simple. Like, you could have a 30-minute call where somebody wants to cancel. the calls over
Right.
30 minutes, right? You don't want to target more people like that, right? On the flip side, you could have a call that lasts 45 seconds with a customer who's very interested in buying your product. And then because of technology, the call drops. You're not going to fire that pixel because it's under duration. So with our intent, not only are we going to show you by data source or media partner, by the way, if you're passing those in the metadata, we can also post back right in our pixel, like why people are calling in, right? So you can learn more about the calls that you're buying or generating and optimized based on intent, regardless of disposition or outcome.
It's absolutely incredible, Rob.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. And I don't think we promote that as much as we should, because
that's why we're here. No, I want to hear more about it. And you're again, as you go, you get me excited and I start pacing and I want to jump in, but I'm trying not to ruin your flow here.
No, you're good.
But what's important too, and I think you kind of touched on it, is, you know, in traditional, you know, call centers, maybe some of you out there today, you are doing some level of QA, right? You're listening to some calls, you're pulling a couple call recordings. But again, it takes a lot. You need a dedicated resource to do that. You know, they may have a scorecard of some sort that they're going through. They're listening for the tonality, listening for the things. What's so incredible about today's technology, AI, and what OnScript and Rob have built is now you can analyze 100% of your phone calls. All of the calls that come in, inbound or outbound, you can see everything. You're getting the sentiment analysis. You're getting all these incredible things. And I think back to, you know, even inside at CallTools, when we talk to our sales team, you talk about the tonality. You talk about, you know, those types of things in terms of being on the phone call. And again, maybe this is something I say, maybe I'm not 100%, and Rob probably has the data to back it up, but I think it's pretty relevant. I say that 80% of every phone call is energy, you know, in your voice and excitement, and 20% what you actually say. And I go back to when I was in the solar space, you know, we used to have our call center. We would look at our KPIs. We look at all of our top performing agents. And, you know, very rarely was it what they were actually saying, but it was more so the tonality and the way that the calls would go. And, you know, you listen to some of these things, and, you know what, the script is a little off. Oh, you know what, don't say that anymore. But they were crushing it, you know, versus the person who's sitting next to them that's adhering to the script, like you said. Going through it line by line, again, personalizing it, not robotic, but, you know, going through it. But, you know, it's a lot different when you get someone on the phone. Hey, Rob, how are you? Yeah, I'm looking for, you know, some post-call analytics, and I want to see if you could help me. Versus, hey, Rob, what's going on, brother? Listen, you know, I'm looking for some post-call analytics, you know, and you can even see Rob's reaction on the camera here. He starts smiling, you know, and that's the subliminal cues that people feel, even though they're on the other side of the phone, that, you know, make them feel good. So being able to track that and be able to see that in an unbiased kind of way and in a uniform way is incredible, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah. And where this can all be tied together, because like with a dialer, right, you know, you create your skill sets of agents and your routing rules so you can route the better calls, the better leads to your best performing agents.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, historically, a lot of that is predicated just off some sort of, you know, CPA or number of policies, right? And they're going to route the best calls or the best data to their best performing agents as it relates to purely that CPA mark, right? And they can set up, you know, agent availability rules, right? And route accordingly. But now with OnScript, not only can you do that still, but you can take the insights that we provide, such as, you know, the quality score on the scorecard of the agent, the Vocalytics score, and you can now marry that also with CPA, right? So now you have other points of data on agent performance to make decisions on who should be getting the best calls. And well, granted, CPA, I still think is, you know, if you're in the business of selling something, right? Like,
sure. Yeah, that's
the number of widgets that the agent sells should be the leading KPI. But sometimes it's not, you know, I don't want to say lucky, right? But like the agent who makes the most amount of sales versus like the agent underneath them who maybe has a couple less sales but is producing, you know, tremendous quality score and Vocalytics score, right? You might want to take that into consideration, right? And having the insights pushed back in an automated fashion between OnScript and CallTools, just make it really easy for the CallTools customer to utilize that data on top of all of the data that you guys already provide your customers.
Yeah, and I think now we're moving into the next tranche here, right? So having a tool that can help you analyze all of your calls, all of your data, give you the feedback, give you the quality scores. To me, that's like the first half of the battle, right? Now you've got all this amazing data, you've got everything at your fingertips, right? Which again, maybe you never had before, so it could feel like, oh my God, this is incredible. But now what do you do with it, right? Now, how do you use that data to make actionable next steps and insights? And that's where, I think that I use CallTools as obviously, as the reference point, but anything you're doing within your business, how do you use that to optimize your call center, to optimize your operation, right? So again, Rob hit the nail on the head with a couple of them, right? Whoever has the best, highest Vocalytics scores, who has the best conversion rates, CPAs, obviously, it makes the most sense to route them the highest quality leads, the best data, because they've shown that they can convert it and they can make things happen, inbound calls or outbound calls, speed to lead, obviously we didn't touch on too much, but again, knowing who the best agents are, you want them to get that real-time lead. Within our system, we have the ability to call fresh leads within a couple seconds of it hitting the system, and you also have the ability to segment which agents you want to send it to, right? So again, you could guess and maybe you'll get it right 70 or 80% of the time, but now that you've got a better way to track and manage what's really going on, I keep going back to the same agent I was thinking about before. And again, the best agent isn't always the best example, right? I remember we had one super high performing agent in the solar space, and their calls were not, if you listen to them, you would be shocked. They're not adhering to the script, whatever. I think they just did the energy overhaul like I was talking about before, and that's why they were successful. But would they be the ones you wanted to train the team with on their call recordings? Definitely not. Would they be the ones that you want to train the incoming agents with, to sit down and maybe show them what they do to moonlight? Definitely not. So being able to see that is so important. And I think it goes beyond just the agents, right? Seeing some of this data as it relates to the lead source, to the different databases and segmentation of customers that you're calling, right, is super critical. So seeing where, your conversions and your connection rates is something you can see very easily within our platform. You also have the ability to segment exactly to which records you're looking for. So looking at your analytics, if you find that for whatever reason, from this lead source, we're converting best in the state of Florida, you could easily say, listen, give me everyone in this lead source in the state of Florida. And within seconds, you have a list generated that you're ready to call and follow up on. You can go even deeper. Give me everybody in the state of Florida on this list that has less than 5 outbound dial attempts, and maybe has a previous call disposition of callback, right? Maybe you identified that, through your analytics that the callbacks have just been a way that the agents are just kicking the can down the road. And when you actually put those in the hands of the right agent, they're able to convert it, right? So being able to segment your data super quickly and act on these insights, I think is super important as well. Because again, you can get, a paralysis almost, Rob, I'm sure you see this too, where there's so many data points and so many things to look at that, you don't know where to start. But being able to take that and be able to move very nimbly and quickly and make a change to your call center. We used to do it, 5 times a day. Hey, change this filter, change it now, change it now, change it now, and then, by the end of the day, maybe we had 4 failed attempts of things that didn't work, but we had one thing that worked really good. Then we come in the next morning, we have that as our base. We try 5 or 6 more things. Maybe 2 things are working now. By the end of a week, it was wildly different than on a Friday than it was on Monday, just using the analytics at our fingertips to see, potentially what was maybe converting better and working. So again, I think being able to act on those quickly is going to be very important, and picking out what's the most important to you, right? Which of those, mass amounts of analytics and things that you're receiving, again, being centralized and really streamlined through a platform like OnScript, That's where you can start to really make meaningful changes in your business. What do you think, Rob? Does that make sense?
Makes sense, yeah. And I would say, like, to take the guessing out of it, like, having the ability to just create automated workflows based on data-driven decisions and not guessing games,
Sure.
is going to make your life easier and boost your revenue numbers too, right? So understanding, like, what combination, right, of data, dial, agent, right, is working best, and then just creating rules and automation, on the data list or the inbound calls based on the automated insights that CallTools and OnScript can provide, will make your customers' lives much easier, right? They just have to stick to the rules that they create, and let the data speak for itself, right? There's very little subjectivity in AI-based evaluation process, and there's very little subjectivity in the KPIs and dialer land that are important, right, to a campaign, right? It's black and white: contact rate, transfer rate, sale rate, right? So taking the combination of what's working best and making sure what's working best is optimized to your best performing agents is going to lead to more sales, more transfers, more whatever your objective is in the call center.
Awesome. And I think the thing too that is jumping out at me is the speed, right? That's what's really changing as we're talking about future proofing into the future with AI technologies, with being able to do this stuff. Now that it's happening real time, the calls are being analyzed in real time. It's all at your fingertips. You can have your screen up, your dashboard, and like I said, you can maybe make more than 5 changes in a day now. I mean, we were using legacy technologies way back when. I'm talking 10 years ago, but things have gotten so much quicker and better that maybe you can make 10 different changes in a day and in real time be making an effect on what's happening. And you can see what's working right at your fingertips as well, So if you made a change an hour ago and things are going down, you make another change, they start to come back up, they come back down. So being real time like that, and especially in a call center where, you've got agents, they're sitting there, it's their livelihood, it's your business, that is being directly affected. To me, it's always been kind of like a video game, it gets me excited. You sit there and you watch the stats happening, the sales happening, the appointments, and it's very exhilarating, and at the same time, when it goes the other way, you start to have everyone panicking. Oh, what's happening? I don't know. I haven't been on a call in 10 minutes, and those types of things. So again, just being able to act on those and act on them quickly, and then maybe to identify, we haven't looked at this piece of it now, or we haven't looked at this group of agents, why their numbers maybe aren't so good, right? Even the negative, right? So we're talking all about the positive outcomes. What are they doing best? That's what we want to replicate. That's what we want to do. But I think on the flip side, you look at, the ones that aren't performing, and I think it's easier to see maybe what they're doing that's not working,
Yeah, I think, in terms of, like, how you can leverage OnScript and CallTools and, the analytics that we provide to improve productivity, it's very simple and easy, right?
Sure.
OnScript makes it very easy for the owner of the business to see how his agents are performing, right, on very specific criteria. And also, like, the trend analysis beyond, okay, well, here's where they're at today. How does that compare to last week or the month before, right? So you can see, is there progress? Is there degradation, right? Are they kind of staying the same, right? And what is unique about OnScript is that not only are we giving these insights directly to the call center manager and the owner of the business, but every agent will automatically get their own login where they can review their calls and how they compare against the team, right? So an agent that wants to understand, hey, how can I turn 10 sales a day into 15? Well, now all they've got to do is log into OnScript and see very clearly, like, what they're getting wrong the most, right?
Sure.
Have all the call examples. Okay, on this call, I missed this one. On this call, it said I need to be more empathetic and use more energy, whatever it may be, right? And they can also see, like, what is the average of my team? Who's the best person, right? And have some examples of of better calls, right, than what they were
Sure.
doing where they were dinged again. So, and we've shown time and time again, somebody puts in OnScript, like the revenue gains on their business after fully implementing it are substantial. So that's one side of it, right? How do you improve productivity? Well, you get them to make more sales, transfer more people, right? And using OnScript makes it very easy for them to see how to do that. The other side of productivity are efficiency gains that we can create. So like in call center land, like what are two things that agents hate doing the most? One is dispositioning. Right?
There you go. Yep. We force that in our system. We don't let you move forward unless you tell us what the disposition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But oftentimes, like what I found in my previous company, our call centers, like agents would get dispositioning wrong like 30% of the time, 40% of the time. They have a bad day. They write DNQ even though they write DNC or DNQ even though they messed up, right? Right. And now,
they don't want to go against their metrics, so they're going to mark it like, oh, this is lost.
Or they make a mistake, right? Or they make a mistake. Happens all the time, right? We're humans. So, but now what's the impact of that? You've got, the business leaders looking at bad data and making decisions on bad data, right? Mm-hmm. So what does OnScript do to help solve that? Well, number one, we will auto disposition every single call that comes to our platform.
I love that one.
Whatever dialer language, right? The call center owner wants to use. So it's copacetic with the dialer. And not only will we do that and show it on every call, but we'll push it back, right? So that gives the call center owner two options. One, they could override the disposition, right? That's already there that the agent did. Two, they could put it under. So now you can start seeing, okay, which ones of my agents are having problems with dispositioning. And at the point that you feel confident with our ability to dispose properly, you might tell your agents, hey, agent, whole new world for you tomorrow. You don't have to dispose calls. Right?
We have a lot of clients that are integrated right now with both of our platforms. I see doing that, and more of them are starting to, take on, because again, it's analyzing the entire call. I believe that they can give it some level of personalization to what drives towards that disposition. So that's incredible.
Yeah. And the other piece that's, a real efficiency gain is, the element of like post-call note-taking, right? That outside of dispositioning, some companies require their agents to enter notes into a CRM, put pieces of information into a CRM that comes off the call. So with OnScript, we have this cool area of every call that we score called fact extraction. And that allows the business owner to ask the AI anything they want about the call and what the customer answers. And if we hear on it, we'll report on it and we'll push it back. So these are questions that the agent's going to ask the customer to enter into their CRM. Well, now not only will we show you on each call, but again, with our outbound API, we'll push it back in, right? So a customer, I asked them, I was like, on all your sales, like how much time does an agent spend after the call doing post-call note taking? 2 to 5 minutes. I was like, okay, let's just take the lower end of that, 2 minutes. And this is back, this is an ACA client of ours, and this is before all the changes with CMS and the three-way call. And in those times, an agent could write 20 sales a day. That was not unheard of, right? Okay, so let's just do math. 2 times 20, 40 minutes. 5 times 20 is 100 minutes. So, hey, agency owner, you're telling me that every day, every one of your agents is spending between 40 minutes to 100 minutes on the call. I was like, and okay, the average ACA sale is about 9 minutes. I'm just doing math. I'm like, so if we took that away and all your agents had to do after they made the sale, enter all the information into Sherpa, was go on to the next call and not spend time doing post-call note taking, how many more sales would that mean for you? We just did math, right?
That's it.
So, and that's one of many examples. Like, how do you create like greater efficiency? And by the way, like agents hate doing that stuff, right? It's a necessary evil because there's not a better process until now, right? Somebody has to do it. We hate dispositioning. We're going to get it wrong. A lot of the time there's human error. And post-call note taking is a time suck, but someone's got to do it. Well, now OnScript does it, right?
I love that.
What that means for you is your agents are on the phone more, talking and having more conversations with your customers, leading to more sales, more transfers, more whatever.
Right back to the beginning, KPIs, right? Driving more calls, and that's going to feed the rest of the funnel down using time-saving and efficiency technology, right? Just like you're sharing here. which is incredible. It's funny. I saw a meme recently. I forget where it was. Might have been Instagram. And it said, sales reps out there, why don't you take notes and disposition all of your phone calls? And it was a sales rep chimed in, and it was a long paragraph. I just spent all day in the call center, in my car, driving to work, doing all this stuff. You really think I'm going to go home at night and go back in and put in my notes and dispositions? And you know what? As much as from the business side, that's what we expect and that's what we want to see. I can almost resonate with the agent too. Like, listen, you got a point. It's extra that you have to do, but that's incredible. I'm sure a lot of agents out there would be glad to hear, if they could take those things off their plate.
Yeah, you want them focused on revenue generating activities for your business, and to the degree that you can pull away things that are important but not revenue generating with the confidence that it's going to get done, right? You should do that.
Sure. Awesome. Well, let's keep going here. I know I don't know how long we're going to go. I think we have some questions here in the chat that I'm seeing, but there was one last piece, and we wanted to talk about how we kind of come together, right? OnScript and CallTools, what the implementation looks like, and kind of how it works. And the beauty of it is, which is so amazing, is that it's very simple to integrate, right? If you're a CallTools customer, if you're evaluating call center platforms and you are looking at CallTools as an option, as well as OnScript, it's as simple as, putting together an API key and being able to send out each call recording. We actually have an integrations team that could do that for you, and they'll have it done in probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes. All we need is the API key from OnScript, and we're able to plug that in and send over all the calls. And at that point, you're pretty much live. Every single one of your phone calls that goes through our platform is being analyzed, dissected, getting all that amazing feedback and information on the vocalytics, the scripting, the auto call dispositions. And I'm sure there's a lot of things I've yet to see, that the platform does that are amazing. So the implementation is very simple, and that's what makes it really nice. And again, that's it too. You can have all these amazing tools and these things, but to have it just be where it's turnkey and it's on and you're getting such a wealth of knowledge and information, it gets me excited, and I think it gets Rob excited too, knowing that, we have that partnership.
Yeah, no, I think, it often can be intimidating, right? When we get to the point of, okay, what does integration look like? So having, such a good partner like you guys, where we just make it very easy for our mutual clients, like Chaz said, takes a lot of that away.
And I'll even say too, it's not just with CallTools. As much as I would love for it to be, I know OnScript's pretty turnkey with every system out there. As long as they have an API and a way to send the phone calls, I know that you're able to turn on the platform very easily. So you guys made that really amazing for your clients that you're able to do it that way.
Yeah. Not every dialer is natively integrated like we are with CallTools, but with CallTools, it's super easy. There's no technical work that anybody on your guys' teams are going to have to do, because OnScript and CallTools got you covered. And the other big benefit of being a CallTools customer, if you come over to OnScript, is everybody that CallTools sends over will get a free trial to evaluate the platform before they have to become a paying customer, just because of our relationship. So we do offer that as well.
That's great. Yeah, we love that. Yeah, and likewise, let us know if anybody's coming from OnScript, and we may be able to do some stuff with you in terms of the implementation and some special things that we're working on. So
you guys are always on our short list of dialer companies when people ask us.
Sure.
You guys are on the list.
We take a lot of pride, in our white glove, approach with the clients. We'll jump on with anybody, whether it's a smaller agency, a couple of agents, or it's one of our large BPOs. We really try and give the same experience to every customer, and that's really what we pride ourselves in. And, so it's incredible. And I was a customer of the system for many years before coming on board. So that's why I have I think a better appreciation for what this looks like together, because, when I was running a call center and I was looking for answers and trying to run analytics, I mentioned earlier, we were very, we were in Excel spreadsheets, crunching numbers, running pivot tables, staying late, coming in early, so anything that's out there that can automate or, kind of give you the information that you need without having to do all that manual work. I mean, sign me up. I wish I had met you. I wish the platform was existing.
I wish the platform was there too, right? Yeah, that's why we built OnScript for the same reason. It's just sitting in, we had a team of 40 people listening to calls, and it's a terrible job, and somebody's got to do it. And we sought to build a better process and better platform. So that's
awesome. Let's open up. I think I see one or two questions here. The first one I think is directed at you, Rob. It says, outside the call center agent performance, is there any other analytics that OnScript is able to kind of provide?
Oh yeah, that must be somebody from OnScript putting that question.
maybe one of the teammates slipped it in there. I don't know.
Good question. So we started OnScript with the idea of better analytics around call center agent performance, right?
Sure.
And then as we've evolved and gotten feedback from our clients on what's important to them, I would say, what else do we do? So we've already talked about some of the other analytics and tools. So, that inbound call intent, right? Being able to tell our customers by publisher, data, media source, right? Why people are calling in, right? Huge value. And being able to push all of these findings back out via our outbound API, right? It makes it easier to ingest the information and action on the data. So the intent and the intent pixel that we can trigger is massive. The fact extraction piece, right? We can tell you information about the call for two reasons. One, your agents are now not.
I've seen that piece. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can literally. There's no limit. We don't charge. You can just ask whatever you want. If we hear it, we're going to report on it. The other part that I didn't talk about why it's important is because, let's say you're an outbound center and you're buying a bunch of data or generating a bunch of data, and maybe you only have PII information, right? Just their personally identifiable information, name, address, phone, right? And now you start, building a repository of other facts about these people, and you can either export it, right? Pull it back in, run pivots, and you can start to find commonalities on attributes about them to target a better customer, right? Okay, let me look at all of my sales and let me look at all of the commonalities, going back, to a health insurance campaign, right? Medications, current insurance company, all these things that you might not know about going into that call, and now you can extract. And then also on the flip side, what are the commonalities between the worst calls and customers I'm getting in, so I can maybe block those from our media, right? Or give that information to our data providers so they can better target. So that piece is really cool, not related to call center performance. Auto dispositioning, we've talked about that. What else? What are some other tools? I think those are the biggest ones that come to mind.
Cool.
And I would say our intent, our auto dispositioning, and our fact extraction area.
And again, always growing, right? I think that I've seen just in the time that, we really got deep with the integration, I've seen the platform, evolve tremendously. So it does seem like you have a very active team over there that's constantly building out.
I appreciate that. And that's accurate. I've never been a part of a company that pushes out so many consistent updates, whether it's, improvements on functionality, new reporting. Every week there's a release, and
amazing.
Yeah, it's just a testament to our tech and development team, and also, the feedback again that our clients give us. They kind of give us the North Stars, hey, now that you've ingested what this can do, what would make your lives even easier? Tell us that. And oftentimes what works for one client,
that's amazing,
can be applied everywhere, right? And everybody gets the benefit of all the cool shit that we roll out. So.
I love it. No, it's amazing. And that's incredible too, to have a platform that's ears to the ground, that is listening to the customer feedback. That's why I have such pride in CallTools, because as being a customer for all that time, I've played with all the dialers out there, all the phone systems, publicly traded companies that offer, telecom and VoIP solutions. I've gotten pretty high, actually. I've gotten pretty, up to the C levels. Hey, I know we need this feature. Something's wrong here. And they've climbed me all the way up and oh, you know what? You're right. And then we're going to work on this. And then I finally get an email 7 months later. Hey, we got that fixed. I'm so far in a different universe at that point that, great, thank you for taking my feedback seriously. But, a small, not small, but a company that has their ears to the ground, that's nimble, that listens to customer feedback. CallTools I started working with back in, I think, 2015 or 2016. And that's what I loved about it, and why we were able to scale with it so significantly in a previous life, is that they would always turn around, hey, look, guys, it would be great if we could have this feature. It would be great if we could do this. And I wouldn't expect, again, that was my experience up to that point. I didn't expect much. A week or two later, hey, it's ready for you, fully tested, let's do it. Really? Oh my gosh. All right. And then I'm one of the type of customer that always pushes a little bit more. Okay, well, now that you did this, can we do this? Can we do this? But it was always value added type stuff. And we try and keep that as our philosophy here at CallTools as well. Anything that we could do that's going to better the platform, make it a better experience for the customers, we're going to put our best foot forward and try and do it. And that's why the platform is at the state that it's at, is because of years and years and years of just customer feedback and implementation, so it's incredible that you guys are on the same path here and kind of operating the same way. I think it's the only way to be, personally, but there may be others out there that disagree.
That's a good segue into the second question, right? Which
okay, we got another one. Yeah, great.
Yeah. What are some of the key differentiators? It looks like this one's for Chaz, between CallTools and other dialers.
Oh, good one. Well, it's a great one, actually. We get this a lot, right? So we have a lot of people come on board that have maybe used other platforms, other dialer systems, outbound, predictive dialers. And really what it jumps out to me, I could say a lot, because I do, again, I think we have the best platform. I've played with a lot of them, but what really jumps out to me is a couple things. One is going to be the data management piece I touched on a little earlier, how you can, take a look at all the contacts and leads in your database and pull out people in the state of Florida, in these 20 zip codes that have less than 5 phone calls, and any other custom fields that you have populated. Maybe that their favorite color is blue, right? You can put that right into the system. A minute later or so, it'll have a whole list ready to go that's ready to dial, and you put that into your campaign real time. So you have the ability to target and manipulate your database real time, targeting all the different fields that exist on your contact records. What that saves you from, what I had to deal with in previous lives, is that I used to have to download all my call logs, analyze them all, and then I would segment. I would have like a grading system. Okay, if it converts at this percentage, it's grade A, grade B, grade C. And I would re-upload those lists, call it, and then re-download the call logs and do it again. With CallTools, it's very easy to see that data real time and then act on it and make, incremental adjustments to the data you're targeting, right? So that's one thing I always, when people ask this question, we get it a lot. That's one that I say. Number two is going to be, I think, our caller ID management and strategy. And I don't want to get into the whole conversation of caller IDs and reputation and all that right now, but I could be here for another 3 days. But what I will say is we have some pretty cool features where you can control the frequency at which your phone numbers are being used. So you could use each phone number at most once every 2 minutes, at most 10 times an hour, and at most, 75 times in a day. So it prevents those phone numbers from being overutilized. We also have, your local presence. So we're able to dial out to the regions at which you're calling out to from your pool of phone numbers that you own. Also the state that you're calling out to, and some really cool, DID management features. And I think our API too, it's very robust. We integrate with almost every platform out there, OnScript being one of them. And it's really easy to send data into CallTools, send data out of CallTools, create automations based on, call dispositions in the system and automated follow-up cadences. So, I could sit here and feature list and go through all the different features, but to me, those are really the big ones that I like to share, because I do think it's very powerful. I think at the end of the day, the data that you're calling on and how you're targeting it, and again, using a platform like OnScript to identify which data you want to target, right? Because everyone has ideas. Oh, I think this is the best list, or this is the best lead source, this is the best thing. But having tangible metrics and things that point towards what's the best for you to call, and then being able to do that and change it on the fly, that's to me the most powerful thing you could do in your call center, and constantly be trying to beat yourself out, A/B testing, looking at what's working. Are my contact rates going up or are they going down? Are my conversions going up or are they going down? And knowing, why, right? And making one change at a time. I'm going a little bit on a tangent now, but I'll wrap it up.
You're doing good.
But I think that making one change at a time is so critical because, I learned from my experiences, right? I used to change everything. All right, let's change the caller ID strategy, the list, put these agents on it instead. Oh my God, it's working. Well, what's working, right? We changed 4 things at once, So I think really just to bring this all to full circle of everything we've discussed here today, identifying what your important KPIs are, and again, it sounds simple. Everyone hears the word KPI all the time. I get emails all the time. Are you tracking your KPIs, from all different companies? But really sit down. What's important to you and what's driving you towards the end goal, which is your sale, your appointment, the outcome that you're looking for. And then what are the things that are leading up to it? And if you're doing it correctly and you're looking at everything correctly, it should always kind of correlate where, okay, if I make more phone calls to this type of data, to this type of list, whatever it is, I should get more connections. From those connections, I should get more appointments. From those appointments, I should get more sales, right? If your KPIs aren't in line like that, then something in your business process is out of whack. And I think that's where you need to really start going even deeper. Why, right? I made, 50,000 more calls last week across my entire call center, but my, connections were down, my appointments were down, and my sales were down. Or, I made 50,000 more calls and my sales were up, but my appointments were down. So it's like, okay, did I change something in my appointment process that made my sales more effective? Did I change something with my contact rate that, got me less appointments? Just knowing what those KPIs are. Again, looking at your analytics, within, the platforms that you're using and using a platform like OnScript, how to analyze things that maybe you've never looked at before or had the capacity to look at before, right? I'm sure if you were trying to manually do what OnScript does, you'd have to go get a transcription system, right? Transcribe every phone call. Then from that transcription, you'd have to find some type of AI solution that's going to analyze that call, but it's not going to have all of the amazing intelligence behind what, this platform has, so being able to do it and do it at scale and then automating that, right? So being able to put that somewhere that's meaningful into a dashboard, into a report, somewhere where you can manage it and look at it real time, and then being able to integrate that into your process, so this has been incredible.
You're hired.
Thank you, sir. And again, I could go all day, so I don't want to, take everyone's time, and everyone who joined here. Thank you so much. I think I saw the numbers climbing and going up and down. So thank you all for taking time out of your busy.
What did we get up to? We had 7 people?
I don't know what the peak was here, but we were climbing, and again, we're going to make this available publicly so anyone can come back in and take a look. But again, I think it's to really drive home the value here from today is it's analyzing what's going on, getting these things outlined, and then having a meaningful way to analyze and automate. And I think if you do that going into this year and into the future, you're going to constantly be, setting yourself up for success in your call center.
Right on, dude. And I would say if anybody has any questions about anything we've talked about or want to have a discussion about, KPIs, how to improve their KPIs, automation, Chaz and I and our teams are available. How do people get in touch with you, Chaz?
Yeah, I'm going to put it up in just a minute. It has both Rob and ours contact info. I'll leave it up on the screen for everybody. And yeah, again, I know Rob's the same way I am. We just want to share knowledge and see people be successful. Sometimes, I just want to see people. So whether or not you're a CallTools customer, an OnScript customer, if you just want to talk and have a meaningful conversation, I'm open to it, So I know Rob's the same way. We just want to see everyone take it to the next level. And if it happens to be with us, let's do it. Let's do it together, and let's ride forward and, let's crush our goals and outcomes together. But Rob, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and put some contact information up on the screen for the next minute or so for everybody. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me. There you go.
No, we can hear you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Nice headshot you got there, Rob, too.
AI
generated. All
my
right.
neck's a little long if I'm being critical.
Awesome.
But yeah,
well,
great headshot.
All I got to say is it's been incredible. And and for any of those that didn't know this whole time, Rob actually is an AI. So this has been an AI interview. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
That would be funny. One day, maybe.
Oh, maybe it's getting there. But awesome. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to our guests. It's been a lot of fun, man. Good job.
Awesome. Have an incredible 2025, everybody. Talk to you all soon.